before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and hit that little notification bell so you can keep up with me and my new videos. Today's thoughts on today's topics. Hi everyone, and again, welcome back to my channel. Today we're actually going to talk about Pedro and Chantel from 90 Day Fiancé. They originally started off with being under the 90 Day Fiancé franchise, and eventually they moved on to have their own spinoff called The Family Chantel. Um, we're going to talk about their situation and how crazy it is now that they're getting a divorce or in the process of getting a divorce. Um, Originally it started off with, Chantel meeting Pedro in the not in the Dominican Republic, but actually meeting Pedro by helping him to learn English. Um, and and he was helping her to learn Spanish. And that's initially how they met. They ended up falling for each other and liking each other. And from then it progressed into a relationship. And what happened was Chantel ended up becoming Pedro's fiance, and she didn't tell her family about Pedro and the situation that they were in. And in my opinion, starting off already starting off with secrets, that was initially the beginning of the downfall, just personally to me. So with Chantel, or the family Chantel's family, they're very close knit. And not only are they a close knit family, but honestly, they're always up in each other's business. Um, um, I'm trying to think, do I quite find anything wrong with that? No and yes. No, because I'm kind of used to that. My family's kind of always in each other's business. But at the same time, I feel like that didn't give them enough space from the beginning to be able to figure out their relationship. And not only were they coming in with secrets, but also the families didn't like each other. Chantel's family didn't like Pedro, and Pedro's family didn't like Chantel. And it was just a big mess from the get go. So honestly, I'm surprised that they survived the relationship as long as they did, because this family came in being a hot mess. But I thought, honestly, that with all that they went through and how their families were and this humongous blow up fight that they had, that they would end up not being together. But apparently they worked through all those odds and still ended up being together. And when I mentioned the fight that I just mentioned, you guys, it wasn't a little simple argument. No, they fought, like fists flying, food flying, kicks flying, we flying, everything. It was just a big old mess. Um, what you're actually probably going to have to do, more than likely, to get the understanding of what I'm talking about is go and watch 90 Day Fiancé, the season that they were in, and you will see how much of a big old mess that it was. And currently their seasons and all that catching up and stuff is streaming on Discovery Plus, so you can always watch it on there to see exactly what I'm talking about, because I can't even describe to you as big of a mess as it was. You have to actually see it for yourself. It was a big mess. So after that fight, with them being able to get through all of that and coming together, and Chantel and Pedro still being in love and fighting through it all, you would think that they would make it through anything. But apparently not. Because not too long ago, Pedro and Chantel decided to separate, and officially Pedro filed for divorce. And I've been reading some of the like tabloids and some of the things off of like the blogs and all of that, and it's like a huge mess. Chantel, but right before, I think it was like right before or right when Pedro filed for divorce, Chantel took out $270,000 and put it into an account to get from her and Pedro's marital, I assume, marital business account, and put it into an account, a bank account for her and Winter. That right there is a humongous mess. I don't know if um what the reasonings behind that was, because Pedro and Chantel, even though they're in the spotlight, they're not. They keep a lot of things to themselves, and a lot of things people have to find out because they don't speak on a lot. They really don't. And so with that being the mess of moving the money over, other allegations came about, like, Pedro being some kind of abusive. I don't know, mentally, verbally, physically. I don't know exactly, but they came across, or the way Chantel was telling it, it came across as if Pedro was some kind of abusive. And then Pedro flipped it back on her and was saying, you are this and you are that and this, that, and the other. And then they ended up taking a restraining order out on each other, which apparently the restraining order wasn't necessarily because of physical or emotional abuse, but it was just so that they really, honestly, I particularly feel like it was so that they couldn't talk about each other in the media. So they couldn't talk bad about each other. So that's really why I feel like they took out the restraining order. And the situation with Pedro and Chantel has gotten so sad because I really was rooting for them. I was really rooting for them. And on the current season of The Family Chantel, it just is like the beginning of the end. And they're showing um everything that Chantel and Pedro have gone through, like right as they're separating. And it's not easy to watch, but it's entertaining, so I watch it. Like I know on the most recent episode, Chantel is actually in the Dominican Republic trying to get Pedro's mom on Chantel's side. And Pedro's mom is the kind of lady that likes gifts and things like that. And if you give her gifts, you kind of get your way with her. So Chantel bought her some Gucci glasses. And I think Chantel was doing that to kind of bribe her to be more so on her side, because Chantel knew that if I get Mama on my side, Mama can kind of manipulate Pedro for me just a little bit. So I guess that's why Chantel decided that she wanted to do that. And if you've been keeping up with the show, and if you've been watching the show, you'll see that Pedro's sister, um, Nicole, does not like Chantel at all. She says Chantel's not this, Chantel's not that. Chantel is not a beautiful person. Chantel is not um she's has weave and this and that, and she's made so many comments about her. But honestly, if you look at a picture of Nicole next to Chantel, it seems like more and more Nicole's trying to transform into Chantel. So I don't know what all of that animosity is coming from, but apparently she feels some kind of way about Chantel. Why she feels some kind of way about Chantel, I have no idea. No idea at all. So it just, to me, it is what it is. Um the thing that I feel about Chantel, though, is that Chantel makes really bad decisions. And I think it may be because of how she was raised. I feel like Chantel was raised kind of sheltered and kind of feeling like life is like how my mom and dad are. I'm life is supposed to be that way. When we're married, my life is going to be perfect just like my mother and my father's, because her mother and her father, their relationship is almost perfect. Not, no relationship is perfect, but they know how to work out the situations in their marriage. um Mr. Thomas, which is Chantel's father, he knows to kind of obey and listen to his wife. So it's like she kind of brings him along and drags him along and tells him what to do. And that's just how their relationship works. That's just how it works. But With Pedro doesn't really have the same kind of example of what marriage is, being because Pedro's father was actually married to someone else, and his mother, Lydia, didn't care and decided to have children with this man. And I don't necessarily know what's true on that, as far as if Lydia knew that he was married, if Lydia didn't know that he was married, if, Lydia was just being bribed with the gifts, like I said before, because Lydia, she likes gifts. And they were saying that Pedro's father gave her gifts, and being that when he was giving her gifts, that's how he ended up getting children with her, or making love to her, and that's how she ended up with these kids. And he was saying that Pedro's father told her lies, and she didn't know about like marriage and more kids and all of that, and it's just a big old mess of a situation. I would highly advise you guys, if you're not familiar with the family Chantel, to go ahead and check out Discovery Plus, get to know their backstory with Chantel and Pedro, and it tells you a lot, because it's a lot to unpack. A lot to unpack as far as the backstory to them. But I honestly never thought that Pedro and Chantel would be in the situation that they're in now, where they're breaking up. Now, secretly, do I kind of think that this might be something to keep them going in ratings for their show? Yes. Don't tell nobody, but yes. Um, I kind of feel like it might be something that, we're going to keep watching. A lot of people I have heard have said that I don't want to watch them fall apart or divorce because it's sad. I don't want to see that. And I completely agree. But there are also, I feel like, way more people that do want to see a wreck, that do like train wrecks, and they want to look at this and view this and get their life off of it. And it is sad, but it's true. And I kind of wish that they weren't going out the way that they are, because it's hard to really watch it. And currently, while I've been watching the show, you kind of see where Pedro's just always mad at Chantel, and I feel like it's about nothing. Both of them need to learn how to communicate, and their marriage will be fine, in my opinion. Just learn how to communicate, learn how to listen. It shouldn't be a tug of war with who's right and who's wrong, and like who's gonna be on top. And you have to, in a marriage, in order to make it work, from what I've seen, you have to take in everyone's opinion. You can't just go around, just allowing people to do whatever to you, because it just does not work that way. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to be alpha." No, I'm going to be alpha. You're going to listen to me. No, it's not like that. They got to communicate. In my opinion, I think they need to go to counseling. I don't feel like Pedro should have just jumped up and said, "Oh, well, I don't want to be with you." It should have been like, let's try to work this out. Now, if he doesn't love her, that's one thing. But if he does love Chantel, which he explained that he does love Chantel, then I feel like they need to work it out. Their marriage, personally looking in, I don't know, because of course I don't know them on a personal level, but looking in from the outside, it doesn't appear that it really is that bad. Like, if they talk it out, they get counseling, and they would be able to work it out, because I really feel like they genuinely love each other. Now, there has been some allegations of Pedro cheating. That I do not know. That on the show they kind of insinuated, but Pedro doesn't really talk about it in that way. So again, I'm not sure about that. But I do feel like Pedro and Chantel need to work it out. I feel like Chantel's family needs to stay out of their business. I feel like Pedro's family needs to stay out of their business. I feel like this recently on the show, Chantel should not have went to the Dominican Republic, being as though Pedro doesn't necessarily always get along with his family. I think that this didn't make it any better. And not only did she go and make it worse, but she told lies all around. And it's just going to be a hot mess. I feel like when I continue to watch this show, that it's just all going to be a hot mess. Because Chantel lied to everyone. She lied to her mother about where she was going. She lied to Pedro about where she was going. That again in itself is a bad thing to do in a marriage, which I think Chantel needs to learn. Don't lie in your marriage, even about simple stuff. Even if you're trying to save your marriage, don't lie. And on top of that, I'm pretty sure that Chantel's mother, Miss Karen, she's going to find out where Chantel is. And not only is she going to find out where Chantel is, but knowing her, she's going to run and get up in their business. And then this is how it's just going to blow even more so all out of proportion. It's just going to be a mess, y'all. A mess. Whew. And so I'm going to continue to watch to see what happens. No, it's not fun watching it, but I'm entertained by this show. I'm going to see how they play this all out. At the end of the day, do I really think that Chantel and Pedro are going to get a divorce? Maybe, but maybe not. I honestly kind of think that this might be something for ratings and maybe they'll work it out. I kind of hope it is because they were one of my favorite couples despite all that they went through. And I want to see them make it. And so I just hope that this is all kind of fake for ratings, for everyone to watch it. And I just wish them both the best of luck. I kind of wish their families would stay out of their businesses. And we'll just see how this goes. If there are any huge updates on their situation, you guys know I'll be back to talk about it again, or any other topic that I've talked about. If there are any other huge updates, I'll come back and I'll talk about it. You guys sound off in the comments. Let me know how you feel about Pedro and Chantel. Leave any likes, and of course, if you like my content, please subscribe. Thank you guys for watching me. I have enjoyed making these videos and I hope to make more. You guys have a great day.
Please
Thank
don't
you.
forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.